Hello there, it's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. I was going to go and camp on Tosson Hill in the Simonside, but I drove there. I got up to the car park, it was that full, even the verges were full of cars. I've never seen the Simonside Hills with so many cars, and I'm thinking when I'm camping I want a bit of solitude or at least peace and quiet. That was ridiculous, so I quickly got back in the car and I drove to Harwood. I didn't really fancy Harwood today, I wanted something different, but I wanted a nice peaceful camp. So here I am. I think I'll have a wander up a different path and just see where a different path takes me. And I'll just see what happens today. It was a bit late to go up to the Cheviots because I had family commitments today, so didn't have time to go up to the Cheviots. Well, I could have got there, but I wouldn't have had time for a walk before the camp. Because it's dark at 6:30, isn't it? 6:45. So we'll see where this takes me today. I've just picked this different path, quite close to the car. I'll go to the end of there and I'll see what it looks like. I don't really understand how this forestry business works, because when you see where the stumps were off the original trees, they're quite spaced apart, you see. And yet all these little seedlings, there's just hundreds of them. They can't possibly have the room to grow. So you can see the stumps where the original trees were, but there's far, far more of the new seedlings, so I don't actually understand how it works. I don't know how you're meant to follow that path. It's you've got no chance of going up there. So let's keep going up here and we'll see what we find. Well, I've come out of the woods. That's obviously the road up there. I think that's the hanging post, isn't it? I'm not sure, can't see. Well, there's some form of brick enclosure up there. Where shall I go? I'll have a wander up here and see. Well, I've come from over there through them woods. I've gone over this little barbed wire fence. And now I'm faced with this. There's water down there. This is difficult. Wait a minute now. Yes, I'm in the water. Oh. Well, I must be as mad as a badger. Coming for sale. We'll see. I want to complete the task now. Well, I've nearly broke my leg a few times battling through this. And it turns out I could have gone up about half a mile and picked up what looks like a track that's used by animals more than people. This is actually a track on the Ordnance Survey map, but obviously it's not used by people. I'm going to have a look what this building is up here, these ruins. But I'm enjoying it, it's an experience. I'm on my own, it's quiet and it's peaceful. What more can you ask for? You see, this is what you're walking through down there. There's some of the land I've come across to find this nice little remote spot. It's just a sheepfold, this is what I've found. Let's go and have a look at it and see. It's certainly nice and quiet up here. There's some nice views of the hills. And if the sun was setting, you'd see it over there as well. Yeah, look at this. I've just come across from the sheepfold and that looks like a shooting platform down there somebody's constructed. And there's me struggling through all that. And there's obviously a path here, but obviously it'll go miles up this way before it goes round the back and back to the woods where I've come from. This place is just vast. You could just explore it for weeks, it really could. I know I'm not on the hills, but it's actually turned out a great day. Where shall I go? I'll tell you what, let's go and have a look at this contraption down here. Definitely a shooting platform, isn't it? You'd climb up there, you'd sit on that seat, and then you've got the armrest for your gun, and they've got a bit of cover. So they must see the deer over here. So that's where the braves sit with the guns. Not for me, I'm afraid. I'd rather enjoy it than kill it. So I've just looked on the map and all these terminate about a mile up from the gunner's box area. This is amazing. Didn't even know this corner was here. Fantastic. And there's some nice big mature trees there. You could get inside as well, look. Let's go and have a quick look at that. But I think this is too busy. It looks like there's regular traffic here. You couldn't really get away with setting anything up in there. So many of these forest areas, although they're sturdy trees, the ground's just too it's just not flat. It's not really good for a bivvy or a tent. It's just nice to explore. Right, let's get ourselves back up there. Well, it's a bit rough inside this sheepfold. I thought I'd be able to camp in there, but there's a spot here, but there's all rocks. So, I suppose this is suitable. I might have a wander, see what else I can find. I've still got an hour and a half till it's dark. Shame, would have been a nice spot. Just see if I can sort anything out. It's been raining now as well. Onwards and upwards, I think. I'll just keep going. Would have been a nice flat spot that as well. A strange thing. All this walking, I've done a couple of miles. Looks like I'm going to end up in a blooming familiar spot. Oh dear. I was going to try somewhere different as well. There's the trig point up there. Can you see it through the trees, the white trig point? Oh dear. There's nothing around here, it's just all it's all just rough. Bit of a pond there. But that'll attract some wildlife. Eh, dear. So I've traipsed through all that. Oh well, I like exploring. Looks like I'm going to end up in the ditch. Must be popular with the guns round here. Look, there's another platform with somewhere to sit and some camo netting on it. Well, I'm worn out now. All this walking. At least the weather's nice. It's been a nice walk. But if you didn't know Harwood, I mean, I'm still exploring it now, finding parts I didn't know about. If you didn't know it, you wouldn't know there's a nice pitch up there. It's a great place. I could wander for ages. I really could. It's just nice to have a wander. Keeps you fit as well. I mean, I've done about 6 or 7 miles today. See, when you look in there, it's just not suitable for camping. Not suitable. You can see why I like to set up in the dry. I've got stuff everywhere. I've got my tea stuff on this one. I've got bits and pieces on that stump over there. There's my rucksack. I'm using the tarp and the mat. I'm just blowing it up. Because I walked all round the forests today and I did 6 or 7 miles. I thought, oh God, I've ended up at the same place where I always camp. So I'm going to do something different. I've set the tarp and bivvy up. So it's the Alp Kit Hunker XL bivvy, the X-Ped mat, grab sleeping bag, and I've got an X-Ped pillow and I've got my normal pillow in case I don't find it comfy. Talk about carrying loads of stuff. I've got me 3 metre DD tarp. I've got me blooming Van Gogh F10 helium tent. I bought stuff for every eventuality. I've just made myself a coffee. I've lost the lid for this cup. I picked the wrong cup up. So I've just had to put a bit of foil over it. So I've got a bag of peppers and peas. I've got a noodle, lost the pot noodle. That's proper noodles. I put the peppers and the peas in with that. I've got some other noodles, a mug shot and some bars. I'll get all charged up in a minute. I suppose the reason I like this spot is, you know, you've got somewhere to put your stuff in. It's nice views. It's a shame about that sheepfold. It was just too rough. But I mean, I've explored a good quarter of the forest over there today, so I was looking at that bit again. Hello there. I'm just lying in the bivvy. I've got my thermals on there, ready. So I'll take my down jacket off in a bit when I get to go to bed. And my thermals will keep me nice and warm. I've put all my bits and pieces next to me. Now, this condensation malarkey, it's a funny affair. The bivvy is actually bone dry. Bone dry. The top of the tarp is bone dry. Just put that back up again. And yet when you look underneath it, look. It's running with water. I mean, it is a really strange thing, condensation. So if this is running with water now, and it's only like, what, 4 foot square, you've got no chance in a tent. I think we worry far too much about condensation. I mean, there shouldn't be any on this. You're not telling me I'm creating enough heat to cause that, because it's open there. Condensation just doesn't make sense. It must be because the wind's blowing on the other side of it. But it's absolutely soaked, look. You should. It's just soaking wet with water. So I think we do worry too much about tents. I'll have myself another brew, watch a bit of YouTube. The signal keeps coming and going, but I'll see what happens, and then I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It's 7:10. I can't say I've had a great sleep. I've woke up a good few times. I woke up really cold at one point, had to put the down jacket on. And I had really bad indigestion through the night. Those noodles I had, all I could taste was them. I was repeating them most of the night. I thought I was going to have to get up. They obviously didn't agree with me, unless I had another bug, I don't know. But each time I woke up in the night, it was a clear sky, but it was really feeling damp. And I think I've suffered the worst condensation ever using a bivy. I mean, the tarp's absolutely running underneath, but I didn't really do myself up that much. That I could actually wring it out. It's that wet. I'll try and show you without turning the phone round. That's soaking wet. Even the lid, anything, the whole of the back of the rucksack is wet. The tarp's absolutely running, but the worst, I mean, it didn't even rain. It really is wet. Everything's wet. And I've got a funny feeling my feet are actually damp. And I've just put my hand down between the sleeping bag and the bivy, and the whole lot's just swimming. Look at that. Absolutely swimming. Let's pull a bit more out. Yeah. The whole sleeping bag is wet, soaked through, and it's actually reached my toes. I've never had a fail like that with a bivy before. And I know it didn't rain. It must, I just don't know what caused the amount of condensation. Obviously the atmosphere, but that's catastrophic. I mean, you couldn't actually go anywhere else now this morning, so I'm going to have to go home and dry out. It's lovely to wake up. I might be damp and wet, but it's lovely to wake up looking at the sky. You don't get this with a tent. I mean, each time I woke up in the night, I know I was uncomfortable after them noodles, but each time I woke up, I was able to look at the sky, hear the deer barking and that. It's lovely. I do like a bivy, but I can't understand why it's so wet this time. I'll put the video on it a bit better when I get out. Right, back to this condensation. Never seen it so bad. You can see this side of the bivy has got dry bits, so you can see it didn't rain. This side, look, dry. Come over to this side, soaking wet. And the sleeping bag, you can actually wring it out. And we'll pull a bit out. Just look how wet that is. Absolutely soaked. Look at it. The whole lot. I've never known anything like it. All the rucksack's wet as well. You can see it hasn't rained on the top. It's just condensation. But I've never suffered like that before in a bivvy. Right, here's the sleeping bag out of the bivvy. Look at it. What am I meant to do with that? It's soaked through. That's the mat from inside the bivvy bag. You can see this was the one, yeah, this side. But down the bottom, look, it's completely soaked. The inside of the bivvy's just like a come out the washing machine. Leave no trace as always. I've had to roll everything up and just stick it in the back of the rucksack, soaking wet. It's been a nice morning to pack up in on a good note. Lovely morning. Well, that was certainly an interesting camp. I've left the thermals on. I'm that cold this morning. Being damp like that in the sleeping bag was not a good experience. My feet are soaked through, but I just don't know what sort of condensation could cause that. I mean, there wasn't a frost or anything. That's a new experience on me. Just battling my way through all this gorse and whatever to get to the path. But I mean, I've enjoyed the camp. I had a great walk around last night. I didn't get here till 4 o'clock. And I didn't get to the familiar spot by accident until a couple of minutes after 6. So I had 2 hours solid walking around the tracks. I covered 6 or 7 miles, having a good mooch and that, so I really enjoyed it. I've explored a side of the forest I've yet to explore, and I found there's no real places over there of interest, so next time I come I'll explore somewhere else. But the only disappointing side this weekend was the Simonside hills yesterday. I've never seen so many cars there, but it was a glorious sunny day. You know, we've had a bad week, bit of rain here and there, so everybody was obviously soaking up the hills. But it's not ideal if you want to get up and set a camp. But I just can't stop thinking about this catastrophic bivvy failure, which is exactly what it was. A sleeping bag, I could wring it out. Even my feet are wet. I'd be interested to know if anybody's had an experience like that, because I certainly never have. Unless I see any wildlife or anything, I'll just sign off now, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching.